Hey guys, welcome to another loan roundup with myself at JJ Coder. Give us a like, give us a follow, let us know what you think.
You came along just like a song and brightened my day. Who'd have believed that you were part of a dream? Now it all seems like years away. You know I can't smile without you. I can't smile without you. I can't laugh, I can't sing. I'm finding it hard to do anything, and I feel sad when you're sad. I feel glad when you're glad. If you only knew what I'm going through, I just can't smile without you.
Let's get straight into it. You know, we've had a bit of a mixed bag, and unfortunately some of the usual suspects haven't come into it, so we'll get onto those in a moment. But I want to start with Alfie Devine. He played the full game in Preston's 2-1 loss against Blackburn, but actually scored the goal for them, and I think that one is working really, really well. I think what we're seeing is the fact that sadly he's going to fall into the category of a player that we might have to accept won't make it at the grade of where Spurs want to get to. But if we can make some money from him, I think that'll be a good shout. So, fingers crossed that continues. It seems to be working well, and the fact that he's got himself a goal there, that's really good. Moving on to Will Lancashire, played 77 minutes in Oxford's 1-1 draw with Middlesbrough. Tough game that would have been. Middlesbrough playing well, top of the table with Coventry. And obviously, he didn't score in that game, but from what I understand, Spurs hierarchy are happy with how that loan is going, and the likelihood is that he'll see it out there for the remainder of the season. I don't think anything will come up in January to change that. You've then got George Abbott, who is still injured. That was a bit of a tough one for him, so hopefully sooner rather than later will come back. We've then got Yang Min Hyuk, unused sub. I don't really know what's gone on there. Was absolutely flying for a few games. Now John Mousinho just doesn't use him. So bit of a strange one, but we'll have to see how that plays out. Ashley Phillips, got an assist. Unfortunately in Stoke's 2-1 loss to Leicester, was playing at the King Power Stadium, so it would have always been a tough game, but again, seems to be flying there, so we'll have to see what happens with it. My feeling is that he'll be moved on and potentially sold, but progression has been made, so that's good for him. Luka Vuskovic, again doing well for Hamburg. Unfortunately lost 1-0 to FC Augsburg, but getting regular minutes, playing, every single game. So, that'll be a really good stead. And I think we will see him back, at Spurs. I don't think we'll see him back in January. I think the idea is to keep him there, for the rest of the season, see what happens with Dragusin, see what happens with Danzo, and then take it from there. Jamie Donnelly, unused sub for Stoke. We'll move on from that one. I'll sort of summarise that in a moment. We've then got Mana Solomon, came on the 74th minute for Villarreal, and he came on when they were 1-1. So actually they then went on to win the game 2-1 against Mallorca. So it's a strange one there. It really is. He's gone from doing well in things like the Copa del Rey and then not getting minutes at all, but he's come on. Hopefully he's had an impact in that game. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. Obviously, Villarreal playing in the Champions League this week, so we'll see what comes of that, really. Then we got Damola Ajay, not in the squad. So again, we'll summarise that. Same with Alfie Dorrington, not in the squad at all for Aberdeen, and that seems to be a theme for him, sadly. Unfortunately, Mikey Moore was injured, came back injured from international duty, so wasn't able to play in Rangers' game. But hopefully he'll be back fairly soon. I think from what I understood, it was just a knock, so didn't want to sort of push it too far. Tyrese Hall, played the full game for Notts County. Unfortunately lost 3-1 to Colchester United. Almost got a goal, but it went down as an own goal for against Colchester, which is a shame because I think that would have helped further for his development. But doing well, I think we'll follow a similar pattern to what we saw with George Abbott, which will be a case of that he will then make the step up from Notts County to a League One team or maybe even a Championship team. And then we've got Eligio Velez, played the full game for Rosario Central in their 1-0 loss to Estudiantes. And I think we're sort of looking at, again, very similar, the good, the bad and the ugly. In terms of the ones that I think are going well, you've got Alfie Devine, Will Lancashire, Ashley Phillips, Luka Vuskovic, Tyrese Hall and Eligio Velez. All of them seem to be going well. And I think they'll either fall into the category of they'll finish the season with their respective clubs, come back and then either go out on loan or be sold. I don't think any of them will come back apart from Vuskovic. I think that's the one that of those ones I've mentioned will realistically come back in and sort of go into the first team, at the expense of either Danzo or Dragosin. But obviously we'll see how those two perform for the rest of the season. You've then got the likes of, in terms of bad, George Abbott obviously being injured. That's one that he can't sort of do much with. Mikey Moore, obviously out injured. So again, you just hope that those two will, turn into good, but obviously they're only bad because of their injured. And then the ugly ones are Alfie Dorrington, Demola Ajay, Jamie Donnelly and Yang Min Hyuk. I think if I was looking at those and possibly Solomon as well, I think conversations will be had because Donnelly, I don't see being at Stoke, but for whatever reason, that's not working. And it's a shame, I really felt going to Stoke, that would be a success. But clearly not. Same with Hyuk, doesn't seem to be, getting the minutes now at Portsmouth when he was. Ajay, again, not getting anything, not even in the squad, and same as we're seeing with Alfie Dorrington. And I'm really sad for Dorrington because I felt that, particularly with the success he'd had last season, winning the cup with Aberdeen, you sort of felt like that was going to come into itself. But I think what we'll see in January, particularly for Dorrington, Ajay, Donnelly, I think them ones in particular, I think they'll be somewhere else. I don't think they'll be at their clubs. I think they'll be sent somewhere else. I do hope they go abroad. I think that would be a better success for them. But we'll have to see how that pays out. Hyuk, obviously, it'll be interesting to see what happens for the rest of now up until January, because I think if he doesn't get used or doesn't play, I think Spurs will haul him out of there and put him somewhere else. And similar with Solomon. As I said, he came on as a sub. Whether that just be as a one-off, I don't know. But I really hope that he can get some more minutes so that, that becomes a success and that they can keep him. But we're just going to have to wait and see how these pan out. There will be another loan roundup done in a couple of days, because obviously we've got the midweek fixtures in terms of Championship, League One, League Two, and then obviously we've got the Champions League and the Europa League. So there'll be another one of these done in a couple of days. But let us know what you think. Do you think ones are going better than others? Do you think that other players need to be given a different move, or are there players that are currently at the club, that need a loan themselves? Do we look at it for Dane Scarlett? Do we look at it for Dragosin? Do we look at it for Kinski? Players like that, where they're coming back and maybe need to get some minutes elsewhere, whether it be to come back to Spurs or put themselves in the shop window. But let us know what you think. You know, you can find me on Twitter at JJCoder. You can find me on Instagram as well. But, you know, see if there's anybody else you think of. But otherwise, come on, you Spurs.
You